Welcome to McAfee and Hawk Sports Talk Friday, April 17th. One day after YouTube tried to take us down, we came back like the Phoenix rising from the ashes. My name's Pat McAfee. Sitting to my left with an incredible face, AJ Hawk.
Woo. Woo. What's up, man? So did we get to the bottom of it, of why everything was just instantly shut off yesterday?
Well, I believe it was either the NASCAR people came after us, and because I said some things about Kyle Larson being a stooge and not being allowed to say the N-word live on a stream. It was either them coming after us or potentially somebody else. But I guess somebody reported us, and since they don't have a lot of people working, there's no checks and balances. Bang, we got taken down. But out of all of this, we got a chance to connect with some people at YouTube. And our channel now has live stream protection.
Yeah!
So...
Yeah!
Those little racist sons of bitches can try to take us down, but we will survive. We will survive. Hey, hey!
Do you ever think you could be taken down for these songs? These are copywritten songs.
Yeah, but we're protected.
We're protected now. We can do all that.
What
stuff.
about before today?
This is a made show.
What's your favorite song, AJ?
I mean, I can't pick just one. I don't know. It depends on the mood you're in.
Well, just give us one for like a Feel Good Friday. You
Do you know anything from the Top Gun soundtrack?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
let me hear it.
Yeah, bro.
I'm waiting for you. I thought there's like a karaoke. Like I'm going to tell you. I'm suggesting songs for you.
Baby, I
Get down on my knees for you. I'm gonna fly a plane, kill people, gonna lose my guy, then pray in the steeple. I'm Tom Cruise and I'm small. Woo! My tricks, I do them all. Baby, I get down on my knees for you.
You've lost
That love and feeling. Whoa, that love and feeling. You lost that love and feeling. Now it's gone, gone, gone. Easy with the. You kept playing the kick drum there.
Sorry,
Should have died off.
the fade out. I didn't have the fade out button.
Yeah, so we know a little something, something. They call us the jukebox over here. If you need it, go ahead and put a quarter in.
broken wings.
It's good to know. I'll think of some good songs I want you to sing in the future.
R.P. Goose.
Rest in peace to Goose. He's very dead, but
Spoiler.
he is. He's dead. Did anybody see the new one? Has that come out yet?
No, it is not.
Nah,
It
push
got
back.
bumped. It was supposed to come out in the summer. Now it's coming out like
So
Christmas
Christmas
time.
Day, baby.
I guess you get like motion sickness watching that thing because they have them in real flight and stuff. Like, I guess it's supposed to be the most advanced aero filming production that has ever happened or something along those lines.
Well, last one.
I hope it's good, man. There's super high expectations for it. It's not helping that they got it bumped out. They had to move it out of the summertime, I guess. But Christmas is a big
Summertime,
movie time,
and the living's easy.
What is that?
Sublime.
Sublime, bro. It's Feel Good Friday, AJ. We can sing anything you want. You've refused to give us any requests.
No
So
Zeppelin.
We've just been listening to whatever words you say and have to make up songs off of them.
I mean, I think that's kind of how it goes, whether I give you a real song title or not.
No.
I was trying to figure out just a song there from that sentence, and I couldn't find one.
Stairway to heaven.
There's a lot of there's a lot of stuff happening in the world of sports. Let's go ahead and get to them. Caesars has the Packers over under at 8.5 wins. This is insane to me. They got to the NFC Championship last year. They're added funches and bunches. Aaron Rodgers is coming back better than ever. He got back in time for the quarantine from Peru. I feel like the over here is the right choice. Do you believe that same thing?
I absolutely believe the over is the right here. Like they could sleepwalk their way into 10 wins this year. Like when you have a guy like Aaron that's that good, and your defense is actually improved. Yeah, they're gonna. I would absolutely take the over here.
I don't know. And Mike Florio there at Pro Football Talks asking the same question. Does Caesar know something that we don't, or what is exactly going on here? This feels like one of the easiest bets. Tampa Bay also had another one. I think it was at like 7.5 or 8.5 or something like that. It feels as if they maybe are underestimating, or maybe they know something we don't. You got to remember, these people out in the desert, when it comes to sports outcomes, they say things, and more often than not, they are almost 100% dialed in. It makes no sense. I've actually said on numerous occasions that they are potentially linked up with the people who know the future, who have seen the future. I think that's potentially what happens with some sports books, because some things they predict and project should never, ever happen and do happen. A couple of the games that I called on Thursday Night Football, their predictions were completely wrong in the first half, and then something happens at halftime where everybody remembers like what it's supposed to do, and it comes back perfectly. And I'm like, how did the desert know that this team was going to learn how to play defense in the second half? It just makes absolutely no sense to me. So the fact that they're saying 8.5 wins almost makes my heart hurt a little bit for the Packers for next year, because it's like they're saying something. But with another year in that offense, Aaron Jones getting comfortable, Aaron Rodgers still being back, a defense potentially getting better that gave up 186 yards before contact in the NFC Championship, this feels like a layup for over 8.5 to me.
Well, I took it from a different perspective, thinking, all right, Caesars, the sports books all around the world are getting crushed right now. There's not a whole lot of things to gamble on. Maybe they're trying to get some cash infusion, trying to get a bunch of people to kill that over, and they're just saying, hey, we're going to deal with what we can right now, try to bring some cash in. Hopefully something happens, and it works out for us in the end. But right now we need some cash.
So it's like a gift card from the sports book. Here you go. Just give us a $500 bet. You'll get this back in due time. We just need cash flow at the moment so we can continue the. Maybe they're not able to pay the line makers, by the way.
Could be.
Maybe Caesar's just making things up for the first time because they can't pay their employees. This seems wild to me. I don't know what would make you think the Packers are going to fall back this far, but maybe
the only way they don't get above 8 wins is if Aaron gets hurt. If Aaron's healthy, they're winning more than 8.5 games.
Here's another bet, by the way. You were going to say Tampa? What they have?
9.
They have been 9. Like, I think they're going to win 10 games too. I think Tom Brady at your quarterback is going to win 10 games. I don't know. I might be wrong, and everything I've ever seen in the NFL and experienced in the NFL might be just completely wrong. But I feel like Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be good, and I think the Packers are going to win 10 games. Just for some reason, I think Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady are going to win 10 games, and that is not looking at their schedule. I mean, the NFC South is going to be quite a task for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I assume that the NFC North as well is going to be tough if the big dick Nick Foles is playing for the Bears, and you got Matty Stafford and the Lions who are at 3. I think they're going to be trading out of there and going to get a lot of picks. I mean, I understand that both of those divisions are good, but I just feel like when you have a guy like Tom Brady playing quarterback or Aaron Rodgers playing quarterback, more often than not, you're going to win 10 games. That's just how it's going to go.
Absolutely. Like, if you said 8.5 for the over and under for the Detroit Lions, I would have a hard time picking over under. I would be.
Over,
I would
AJ.
think, yeah, maybe under, but I would feel more comfortable picking the over for something like that.
They're at 6.5.
They're at 6.5. That's still
I'm taking the over on that then.
Me too.
Yeah, I know Foxy's on board. 6.5. You think? I think if if the quarterback is healthy, I mean, who knows what happens at the
He had a
third
broken
pick, like you said.
freaking back last year.
Yeah, and he played through it, and so hopefully this time off will help him heal. But 6.5, I feel like I got to take the over on that too. Mm-hmm. What's the lowest line that came out?
The lowest is
Hold on, let's guess. Let's guess what team.
Skins.
2 teams are tied.
It's got to be Bengals and I don't know. Bengals? Maybe.
Redskins?
Won't be down there.
Well, that's the first 2 picks, obviously. So that's the easiest way to be like, oh, first 2 picks are first 2 picks for a reason. But maybe Chase Young and they think
Who doesn't have a quarterback situation? Who think about around the league? Who
Jacksonville?
doesn't have a
Maybe
Jags, yeah.
Jacksonville might be down there.
Do people trust the Cardinals?
Yeah, Cardinals just got DeAndre too.
got bumped,
I think
yeah.
they're going to say yes to them.
Kyler
About
Murray played well
6.5.
too his first year. He's only going to be better.
Hopefully, maybe it gets worse. You don't know.
Chandler Jones is going to
Sophomore
rack up
slump.
another 19.5 sacks.
Maybe it's the Patriots because they don't have a fucking quarterback
Oh,
up there.
yeah.
Oh, the Pats, yeah, they might be like
Patriots
2.5.
might be at like 2.5, 3.5.
Yeah.
There's 5 teams under 6 wins. The Giants at 5.5. The Panthers at 5.5. The Bengals at 5, Jaguars at 4.5, Redskins at 4.5.
Oh, so it's Redskins, Jaguars, then Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Chase Young's going to change the game. Ron Rivera, there's another guy. I think he'll have a winning culture over there, but who knows how that team is going to do. I think they got a lot of experience in the coaching ranks. They got 10 quarterbacks in that room. They're going to have Chase Young in there. I feel like they're potentially prone to make a run, especially in that AFC East the NFC East, where you have the Eagles got everybody assassinated on that team last year. Yep. Everybody's got hurt last year for that. Cowboys don't have a quarterback currently. Giants, who knows what they're going to be with Danny Dimes. Saquon could carry a team on his back, though, and Danny could be very good.
New coach with Judge.
But that NFC East is very much a big question mark as well. It's funny that the Redskins are kind of, I don't know. I mean, they stink. They stink, too.
Funny that they don't have the worst odds.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking.
I think they give Ron Rivera a lot of credit. I really do. I think he carries a lot of respect wherever he goes, and they think he's good enough to get him better than last place.
Here's some more bets that are available, and I just hammered. Well, I tried to, but the odds are so bad. Tua, beginning of this week, the over-under for him being drafted was 3.5. Now it's at 4.5, and the over is at minus 235, which means everybody is hammering the over. The Tua tank. The tank for Tua might be the Tua tank, which is currently what's happening with his draft stock, I think. If you listen to everybody talk, the injuries, when push comes to shove, some of these GMs, I'm not 100% sure, are going to be able to pull the trigger on Tua with the 4 surgeries. Now, granted, 2 of those surgeries were sprained ankle surgeries. They were just maintenance surgeries that probably weren't needed, but you got because you had medical advancements. Then the wrist, then the hip. There's a lot of conversation. And with COVID-19, this bitch hasn't allowed anybody to get their hands on him. I think there's a chance that the Tua tank job could be real. He could experience an Aaron Rodgers type night, which for him is good news because the further you fall, the better team you're going to, the better situation you're probably going to, but you're not being looked at as a franchise guy that's going to be the immediate starter and turn the place around. This Tua Tagovailoa situation will be one that we talk about for a long, long time. And I think next Thursday night, there's going to be a lot of Tua didn't. Oh, no, Tua. Tua. I think there's going to be a lot of trades, and I'm not 100% sure Tua's going to be on the receiving end of them. I'm worried about him. I like Tua. I love Tua. I'm a fan of Tua. But, boy, I don't know if any of these GMs are that big of a fan of him at this point.
Yeah, they might not be, but I think it's going to be one way or the other. Either he's going to have a fall where you're watching, you're like, oh, are you kidding me? And then you go down the list and you start looking at teams who say, well, they don't need a quarterback. They don't need a quarterback. Like, that's what happens. That's why these guys fall. It's going to either happen that way or it's going to be like, bam, someone jumped up and took him at number 3 or something. I think it's going to be one way or the other.
Detroit is looking for trades. Detroit, Bob Quinn on his Zoom press conference said, I'm looking to have any trade done by 3 o'clock on Thursday, basically inviting every human like, hey, we are definitely up for it. I believe the Giants, Gettleman at 4, they said that they're willing to move. Gettleman said he's willing to move if need be. I think there's going to be a lot of trades, a lot of moves to be made. I'm just not 100% sure who people are going to be trading up to get. I think there's a lot of premier players in this in this draft. I think Okuda's going to be a stud. Simmons is going to be a stud. Chase Young's going to be a stud. Joe Burrow's going to be a stud. Jonathan Taylor's going to be a stud. I think there's going to be a lot of people that I don't even know about, that you don't even know about on the offensive line and defensive line. I think there's a lot of good players. And the more and more you listen to, and Michael Lombardi, who is a former GM of the Browns and worked in the Patriots organization for a long time, he said that he talks to 3-4 GMs a day, basically. And he came on our show and hammered home the fact that he would not draft Tua. He said, Tua is not even on my draft board. That's what. And I said, whoa, sir. Take a minute. And it's because if you draft Tua and he gets hurt at all, everybody will say, we told you. We told you can't do that. And that sucks for Tua. It's unfortunate for Tua that this COVID-19 quarantine happened where they can't investigate if he's healthy or not. But this just feels like this is a potential reality for Tua. And I'm bummed about it, to be honest. I'm bummed about it for the kid.
Yeah, so am I. But I have a hard time believing anything that is said before the draft. Like you
don't trust Lombardi.
Not Lombardi. I'm sure he is off Lombardi's board. And guess what, Tua, I'm sure is off multiple teams' boards. But it doesn't matter. What's the old cliche? All it takes one team to fall in love with them, to jump up and try to snatch them if oh, wow, the draft happens and Tua didn't get picked in the first 10 or 12 slots. There's going to be some teams trying to get in there and pick Tua up.
All you need is one. That's all you need. One GM needs fall. Darius Hayward-Bay, perfect example. Ran that 4-3 or 4-2, whatever it was, and the Davis family was like, well, there's our choice. Everybody was like third, fourth round draft pick maybe. Like, no. This guy's like maybe number 4 overall if we need him. That's all you need. You just need one person that has something. And by the way, just like that morning show, he gave an entire breakdown. There's somebody who maybe in the minors couldn't hack it, but you see something in them, you bring them up there. If they do well, you're a hero. If they do bad, everybody else is telling you that you were wrong, and that's potentially what's going to happen with this draft. That's what happens every single draft. There are plenty more busts than there are makes in the draft, and that's why the draft is such a beautiful thing, because there's a chance you see somebody get drafted 100 spots ahead of somebody else, and that person completely sucks, and the other person becomes Tom Brady, who's the greatest of all time. That's just the way it can go.
There's no way to predict it, especially at quarterback play. Like, you can't really predict who's going to be a stud at the next level, especially at the quarterback position. But with this year, with all of these quarterbacks that look to go in the first round, that's why I feel like we're going to have some crazy trades possibly happening, because everyone's searching for a quarterback. They want their next franchise guy, and teams are desperate. They're willing to take a chance. If it's a guy like Tua, yeah, a lot of teams may be very scared of his medical history and with his durability. But there's going to be someone that's saying, hey, man, I'm going to be the hero. It's going to be kind of a value pick if I got him in the middle of the first or something. I find a way to get him, and he's our next guy. Then I can sit back and laugh at everybody that pointed to his medical records on how this guy's not going to hold up.
Do you think they ever watched, like my college scout team quarterback play and gave a full, real evaluation on whether or not I would make it in the NFL as a quarterback? Because, by the way, I still think the verdict is not conclusive on whether or not I would have been an all-star NFL quarterback.
Not at all.
I think if you look at my reps, I think you look at my numbers, I think you look at my stats, there's a chance I could have made it, but you can't tell if everybody's going to be a good NFL quarterback or not. For me, I think they would have been able to see, but I don't think for everybody else.
No, especially think about a guy like, Tua is a little different. What?
Something funny?
No, I didn't say something's funny. Why?
Well, you started cackling. Laughing. You started laughing at my potential NFL quarterback career.
Yeah, well, I mean, unless you're telling me you're getting back in the testing protocol and you're making a comeback, then it doesn't really matter because it didn't happen.
I could do the Lamar Jackson too. Oh!
Definitely shook me there.
See you, Mike.
Why you still can't get that mic into an armbar?
I'm not doing the armbar.
He's trying to bait you.
I'm not doing it. That seems like a problem with my back.
Ty and Bailey, they all told me that. There's no way Pat's athletic enough.
Why are you saying that? Who said that?
I just repeated what was heard.
Who said it? Ty and Bailey said that?
Bailey.
Bailey said that about Billy Tube said that about me? Can't do the armbar? Look at you just blowing smoke right in the face of YouTube. It took us down yesterday.
Hey, next time, before you do the cadence, identify the mic so that Dash knows.
That's the mic. That's the mic. That's the mic. Run towards that right there. Other big news, Bill O'Brien did his press conference. We talked about that yesterday. The rumors of Odell Beckham being traded are completely false, says Paul DePodesta, who's not the team's GM, but he's acting as if he's the president and GM, speaking out saying he doesn't like that at all. I got inside sources at the Browns that said there's a lot of stuff being said right now. It feels like that Odell Beckham Jr. trade talk was potentially something that was drummed up by somebody outside the Cleveland Browns organization. And anytime something with Odell Beckham's name on it comes up, it's obviously going to go. You could see that Odell had learned about this potential trade whenever he opened up the Browns jerseys, the new jerseys that look very similar to the last jerseys, just without a couple things. He didn't seem to be pumped about it. That's what people in this office have said, not me. I haven't seen the video of him doing it, but I'm happy to hear that Odell Beckham Jr., who handled the Cleveland Browns situation last year better than anybody could have ever expected. A lot of people say Odell Beckham Jr. is a lot of things, right? He does the kicking that fiasco with the Giants, a celebration fiasco with the Giants, everything like that. He's painted as this person who's a prima donna, a diva. Then he gets traded over to the Cleveland Browns. And last year could have been one of the most dysfunctional seasons I've ever seen a team have. Literally. The most penalized team in documented history of the NFL, the Cleveland Browns. They had a player take their helmet off somebody else's helmet up and hit them with it. Freddie Kitchens had no idea. He ran a draw on 4th and 18. I mean, there was a lot of things that happened last year where if you're Odell Beckham, who's an elite superstar wide receiver, who has done things in the past that potentially drew tension away from the team, there was a lot of thought that Odell Beckham could have had an outburst or 10 last year. And a lot of people have been like, yeah, makes sense. That team is a clusterfuck over there. He did none of that. He acted very professional. He kept his mouth shut. Now, granted, at the national championship, when he was given $100 high fives and then the ass slap of the cop that was in the locker room. Why is he in the locker room? Well, he's a cop. He's allowed to do whatever he wants. Okay, can't smoke cigars inside, whatever the case. All that stuff, he gets charges. But if you think about what he did with Cleveland last year, I think he was maybe the most professional one out of everybody. Now, I'm not saying other players weren't as professional as him, but for what people would expect from Odell Beckham to what he did last year, although he's paid a lot of money and he's really good and maybe there's a history of him potentially drawing tension away, I don't think he acted like that at all last year for the Cleveland Browns. And if you have that guy in your building and you can pay him, and it seems as if he's maybe turning a page to being a more mature player, I don't think you get him out of the building. And I think that's what John D. Podesta was saying is like, hey, I don't want to lose this guy. I would like this guy to be on our team. He's a one of a kind type talent, and I'm happy about that.
Well,
Paul D. Podesta.
I think everything you laid out makes sense, and I agree. I give Odell a ton of credit. He could have easily turned into a poor teammate, and people wouldn't really have blamed him a whole lot with the circumstances he was in. But at the same time, if the Browns were shopping Odell or trying to field some offers or just gauge interest, that's very well possible that it could have still happened. If D. Podesta comes out and says it's false, of course, if it's known publicly that a team is trying to trade you, don't you think a guy like Odell Beckham is never going to look at that organization the same after they brought him in and did all this, and now he finds out after 1 year they're trying to trade him? Like, that's not a great thing and relationship to have between the top brass and your biggest star pretty much on the team.
Well, yeah, he is. He's the biggest star.
I'm saying, like, worldwide, Odell is just he's known.
He's a superstar, by the way. He is an absolute superstar. He does a lot of things in the community too that only gets broadcasted on his social media, not on networks. I don't know. I think the image of Odell Beckham that people have in their head, it was much different than the way he acted last year for the Browns. Now, he didn't have his best year, obviously, statistically, but I don't think anybody in that offense would have succeeded, even if you put I don't think anybody would have succeeded last year with that. They stunk. I thought they were going to win the Super Bowl too. I was heartbroken.
Yeah. When I guess did you lose hope in the Browns last season? How early?
It was.
They lost to the Titans in week 1.
Blown out by the Titans.
Yeah, but
it turns out though the Titans end up being a good team going to AFC Championship.
By the way, I didn't turn my back on them after they got slaughtered by the Titans. I think it was whenever there was like a terrible play called by Freddie Kitchens. So what was that? Probably week 3, maybe.
Weren't you on board with Freddie though when he got hired? It didn't seem like, oh man, they're bringing the coach, like all the players love him. He seems to do everything. Like people were. He has a good balance of holding guys accountable, but he's also like a fun kind of country dude. And then all of a sudden, bam, the dude's out of town.
When I saw Baker Mayfield on Stone Cold Steve Austin show on USA Network, and they were driving around They were driving around Cleveland in motorized recliners. Did you see this episode?
No.
So Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? The
good glass break, by the way.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Jeez. Sound like
Is there glass on the floor?
I know when you were out on the Browns.
When?
Is when they, I believe, ran a draw on 4th and 9, maybe?
Yeah.
Or a draw on.
Yeah, that was it. When was it? What
It
week?
was against the Rams, and that was in week. Let me find out. That was a good one.
Yeah, it was a great one. That was probably when I was completely out. But whenever I watched that Stone Cold Steve Austin interview with Baker Mayfield, they're out on the field playing catch, having a conversation about Baker Mayfield's upbringing. And I learned about his family and his mom and dad, and he doesn't come from much, so they had to invest all in. It was actually a really good conversation. I was learning a lot about Baker. And then Freddie Kitchens came out, and they started playing catch. And I was like, okay, this guy's a head coach, so he's probably going to be funny. You know, most head coaches have to be able to speak, interact, do things like that. And he was not. He was not good. And I was like, well, that's interesting to me. Maybe he just doesn't want to give too much away to Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then you start like watching the year unfold. It's like, oh, Freddie's not supposed to be a head coach yet. Yeah, that's probably when. And then the draw on 4th and 9. I mean, things started packing up, and I had to mail it in on them. But at any moment, they could have turned it on and been a good football team. Yep. So I had to hold on hope a little bit until they were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. And then when that happened, I brought out the shovel, and I turned completely on them. I didn't want to because I love the dog pound. I'm a Baker Mayfield fan. I like Odell Beckham. I like Jarvis. I liked Myles Garrett, before the whole attempted murder situation. But it's just one of those things where that team just did not pan out. Will an entire new culture, new environment help them out? I hope so. But, boy, I think Odell Beckham could have handled it much, much worse, and he's not given a lot of credit for that.
I think that's a great point. That you don't really hear anybody talking about Odell and how how well he handled it. I guess they're trying to actually dive in more, and they show clips of him. They say, oh, reportedly Odell said, come get me to other teams during games and stuff. First off, stuff is said all the time from players to sidelines to coaches that they may have had in the past or players that the ex-teammates. Like, stuff is said all the time, joking back and forth between even head coaches, assistants. So I'd put nothing into that when people try to make that a big deal.
Who leaked that information? If I'm Odell, by the way, I'm never dapping that person up ever again. They were coming on TV like, so my sources are telling me that Odell Beckham gave a full embrace to somebody, dapped him up, hugged him, and then said, hey, get me out of here, and then walked away. If I'm Odell, I'm like, that motherfucker. I know exactly who he's talking about. That's a good friend of mine. I thought. Tomlin used to tell me he was going to bring me back to Pittsburgh once I was old and cheap before every game. He was like, how's it going? We dap up, full thing. He said, I'm going to get you back in Pittsburgh one day when you're old and cheap. You're going to come home. And I was like, I ain't never going to be cheap. He said, one day you'll be cheap. And I was like, he didn't dap up and walk away. And I would laugh every single time. And it was normally when we played the Steelers, it was prime time. So they would have like a shot of Tomlin. And anytime I watched the game back, it would always get cut off because it would be right before he was dapping me up. So, how they do, the shot of the coach on the field? Yep. It was one of the first conversations I think he had when he came on the field. It always made me feel like I was really important, but it was always a shot at me at the end. It was always, when you're old, cheap, and kind of suck, I'm going to bring you back home.
You should have told him, no, I'm going to quit before I'm cheap, coach. You don't know my plan.
Yeah, you have no idea. I'm done with this. You have no idea, pal. You have no idea. Leonard Fournette said that the team should sign Cam Newton. I don't know if that was his exact words, but I guess it was inferred. He said he likes Gardner Minshew, loves Gardner Minshew. Cam went to the Super Bowl. He's a great guy. And like I told some people, it's no disrespect to Gardner Minshew. I'm just trying to get the best position as we possibly can to win. That's my first time seeing the quote. He definitely said.
Yeah, he did.
He definitely said, give me Cam Newton. The guy's on the streets. What are we doing? Michael Lombardi mentioned in his interview with us this morning that Jay Gruden is now down the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jay Gruden brought in Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton knows Jay Gruden's offense. He thinks that 2 days after the draft, 3 days after the draft, when they ultimately cut Andy Dalton in his $16 million deal, he thinks he's going down to the Jacksonville Jaguars, which I had not thought of. And after seeing Ginger Tarzan sling the rock in his tiny backyard, Andy Dalton's ready to be a starter again. And I don't think there's anybody better to go down there to Duval than old Red Rifle.
I mean, have you seen the old Red Rocket? I mean, he's pretty pale like me. He's going to need to put on some suntan lotion every day at practice. That's for sure. If he does go to Jacksonville,
look at him.
It does make sense.
He just rolled out of bed. Look at his hair's all disheveled. His kids
does
are
look
in his
really good throwing here.
He hit 6-7 straight here in this tiny little bucket. I mean, it's bang.
When I first watched it, I started getting nervous for him. I'm like, thinking about it. Telling his wife, all right, turn the camera off after this one. Like he's gonna miss one.
Yeah, which one do you think? And by the way, I think was even thinking about a couple times like stopping, and she's like, well, he's in a fucking groove right now. Let's go ahead and we'll edit this out if we have to. Love the kid snapping the ball, get the family involved. He then posted a video yesterday of him working out in his gym, which is a very nice looking gym, by the way. Had a kitchen in there, had a sink in his gym. His backyard's tiny, though. I mean, it's a tiny, tiny little backyard, and I got a problem with it. He's probably watching his show right now, and I want to let you know, Ginger Tarzan, I expected a bigger backyard out of you, Andy Dalton.
Well, I think, yeah, he's down at his place in Texas. I think it is much bigger than it looks in that video, Pat.
Oh, have you been there?
I have not been there. but I know plenty of people that have been there.
So you're saying that could be like a 30-yard throw.
I'm married to the person that has been down there and helped them put that place together.
Oh,
Their house is legit.
Is it? That backyard's terrible. What did she?
That may be even the side yard. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, that's the side yard.
The practice field.
Okay.
Did he ask that to be like dimensional to how far he can actually throw?
Oh my God.
Nick.
Come on. Jeez.
Nick.
Just a question.
The old Pittsburgh Cincinnati rivalry runs deep, huh?
Not really. It's really the Pittsburgh Cleveland. But back in the day, whenever you were on that Bengals team, that was back whenever the Steelers-Bengals rivalry was awesome. I mean, I remember you guys had that game one, and then there was like a war that happened, and Joey Porter was on the field, and then all of a sudden, Steelers get a win, get out of there. Bengals haven't been back since.
Yeah, pretty much. Heartbreaking playoff loss, no question.
You were on that team?
Yeah, I was on that squad.
Did you tell Burfict to knock Antonio Brown out?
Do you take
First
any
off-
blame for that, for what happened to Antonio Brown after that hit by?
Did you run into the
I take blame.
Yeah, because you told Burfict to do it.
Did you run
did
into the
not-
tunnel celebrating the win before the game was over?
Now that part, guys may want to may have a little regret over that, celebrating in the tunnel and the game wasn't over. No,
What
actually,
happened?
No, they probably don't.
yeah, they were
The
celebrating.
problem was we fumbled. We got the ball back to run it out, and we fumbled.
You guys fumbled and kneeled down?
And right before the fumble, the defense ran into the tunnel celebrating like the game was over.
I wouldn't say the whole defense. I'd say 4 or 5 players.
Oh, you weren't in the tunnel celebrating?
No, I was not there.
Okay, so what happened? I don't remember. I don't recall this. And now that we're here, I like a little Cincinnati Bengals
It wasn't a
history.
kneel down. It was a swing pass, and Shazier hit the running back, and it was like a helmet to helmet hit. It was a pretty vicious hit, and he might have got unconscious, but he fumbled.
No, he
the ball.
fumbled. No, that hit happened in the game. They fumbled later.
Yeah,
What
who
happened,
was it?
AJ? Tell us what happened.
It was. I think it was Jeremy Hill who fumbled later. He
Yeah,
just
it was
like a run play in the middle. And somehow, I think Shazier did cause that one though. But he put a nasty hit on Gio Bernard, I believe, earlier in that game.
Oh, Paisan. Shazier, by the way, friend of the show. I love that man. Have you ever got a chance to meet him? You guys are both Ohio State legends. I'm not sure he has a cereal box, but he is a legend at Ohio State and very good at football. I think he's going to get back to running in full form, I think, at some point. I'm pumped up for him.
Oh yeah, I've seen him a decent amount over the last year or two, and man, yeah, pretty amazing story. And he's still like the cool thing. The Steelers are taking care of him. He's still around all the time, like on the sidelines. So I think it's good to keep him involved.
You know, Ty lost about all of Ty's money. Ty lost all of
months rent.
Ty lost all of his money playing blackjack, sitting next to Ryan Shazier, trying to keep up with Ryan Shazier.
Not wise. Not wise.
Good night,
Can't do
Tom.
that. It's like what the Bulls docuseries is coming out early. I know it's like guys making league minimum trying to hang with Michael Jordan on the golf course. Yeah, okay, 50,000 a hole sounds good. All right, yeah, I make 85 grand this year. That'll work.
What's that saying? There's a saying in the NFL. There's a saying in the NFL about trying to live up to somebody else's means. I forget what it is. I was always told it whenever I would buy 100 shots for places. It's like, if I go broke, I go broke. What are they going to? They're gonna unteach me how to kick a ball. I think I'll be able to make money somewhere. It's something. By the way, such an arrogant mindset of mine. There's at least 4 bums in this league I can kick better than forever. I mean, I'll just make it again. Who cares? Let's buy the entire town a round of drinks. Let's do it. All right, great. Fucking money gone.
Pat.
Yeah, buddy.
Friend of the show, Joe Buck, had a hilarious response.
Okay, so we said his name, so the comments are going to go crazy. He was offered $1 million by a porn site to live commentate a porn while it's happening. Darren Ravel says a porn site says it will pay Joe Buck $1 million to announce it cam shows live. What is that?
It's like where the people could like do it from their bedroom.
Yeah, live. It's like a live show. It's like this, but naked.
Oh, and their cam shows, there's people having sex with each other?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's called a cam show because it's like a webcam. Just set it up on the thing.
You send bits.
Point
Oh,
it
so
at
it's
the bed.
entrepreneurial.
Yes,
Lism
absolutely.
porno. Okay. So the cam shows, the site. What's that?
Dump them.
Is this the fans thing that you guys refer to?
No,
You can go live on that.
Yeah, it could be.
Anyways, a porn site says it'll pay Joe Buck $1 million to do live commentary of its cam shows. That site says it is also accepting applications from other national and local sports commentators. Are we getting $1 million to commentate webcam porn? AJ?
Does $1 million, is that for everybody? Anyone, like if they choose anyone?
Joe Buck had a response. Joe Buck said, and I quote,
Depending on the site, they could just be handing some of my money back to me. So I'll hold out for a better offer and try to hold on to my day job. But I have to say, I'm flattered.
Joe Buck. I know. That's a very relatable tweet by old Joe Buck. The internet is going to probably, it just started turning here a little bit, but the internet should be on Joe Buck's side. That is a incredibly self-aware, self-deprecating, relatable tweet by our guy, Joe Buck. And that's why I've been saying since the beginning of time, this is a pro Joe Buck show. This is a pro Joe show. Yep. This show is a pro Joe show.
Let's go,
commentary.
Joe.
Let's go, Joe. Let's go, Joe. Let's go, Joe. And the commenter's not the same exact way, but the tweet is absolutely fantastic. And now it gets me to this point. Are they offering us $1 million to commentate porn?
I get, and I want to know what does the contract look like? Is it just one scene or one night of work, or is it something they want you to do every day? Like if it's Joe should really think about this. If it's only like a one-off deal, $1 million.
He's in the 30. He's in the 20.
Joe Buck's just dry. Thinking of Joe Buck's dry sense of humor too, while commentating. Whenever old buddy eventually climaxes, I cannot wait. What a good idea by this porn site. And I would tell you what, the economy might be in a bad spot for a lot of different companies and businesses and stuff like that. I assume that Amazon and porn are just doing A-OK.
Crushing.
Just doing A-OK right now. I bet you people are beating their salami at rates that the world has never seen before during this COVID-19 quarantine. I bet you there is an entire beat the hell out of myself situation happening in a lot of these houses where they're locked down. They got nothing going on. I bet you Joe Buck could maybe get paid by the hour and make a couple billion at this point.
Yeah, I wish Joe Buck wasn't with a network right now. I think that's the biggest thing holding him back. If he wasn't working for Fox and the voice of the World Series and doing some of the biggest sporting events ever, maybe he'd give this a second look.
You think Lou Holtz would ever do that?
Ooh, man. Yeah, I think he might. I don't know. Don't we always have him somewhere? Like, isn't there a hotline that Lou listens to?
He's
the
always
show
around. He's always around because University of Notre Dame is in Indiana, so we always have him. Is he back there, Ty?
Listen, I don't know if I could commentate one of these pornos. I think it'd be very, very difficult for me to look at an erect penis for that long and not want to go jerk my own baloney. You see it going in and out. Now, granted, when I was coaching at Notre Dame, we didn't, our players weren't having premarital sex. So that's something that I'd have to look into. I don't know, $1 million, though. That's a lot of packs and depends. So.
Worst show of all time. We have the worst show of all time. We have the worst show of all time. That makes me cry laughing. Because I've met Lou Holtz. He's a good man. He's a good man. He's a good man.
So nice.
He's such
It makes you feel bad for laughing, but it's not even like the delivery Ty has. It's his material is always spot on.
Always.
How
No
he
premarital.
pronounces Notre Dame just gets me every time.
Oh my God.
We're having premarital sex when you were coaching.
Not at Notre Dame. Those guys aren't doing that. Hey, did you hear Rudy's a bunch of shit? Rudy's not a real story. Do you know that?
Oh yeah. Have you ever talked to anybody that played on that team?
Offsides.
I haven't. I would like to hear it.
I mean, they don't view Rudy like as this godlike character like most people that are fans of the movie do.
Oh, they hate him.
Well, they're like, yeah, he was on the team. Like they act like it wasn't a big deal.
Oh, you're talking about the guy that was on scout team that we fucking pounded every day? Is that what they say?
Rudy still hangs around. I think he's around South Bend a lot. People always
last guy to
He's
get carried
probably
off.
homeless.
Bars, right?
He's probably homeless. He probably spent all that money on webcams.
What kind of money did he get? He got turned over the rights to his story, I guess, that he was one of the producers on.
I think he started a very profitable, motivational speaking career because of it.
Oh, smart. Everybody wants Rudy. For
I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all.
I do.
Who cares?
If he stunk and he made up this story to make himself look like a hero and everybody on his teammates hate him, that is something that I do blame him for.
His name was Eugene.
Did he know? But do you think he knew that everybody was going to hate him for this?
I think you know if you're on a team and everybody hates you, don't you?
Absolutely, but some people don't have that part of their brain where they care.
I'll tell you what.
Yep.
There has been some rooms I've walked into where I thought, oh, everybody in here hates me. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I probably shouldn't be in here. Never with teammates or anything like that. But in my life, I've
Like what
obviously.
kind of situation?
Like you go to a party maybe that's at another university or something like that, and you walk in and maybe there's a bunch of people there who you potentially have said terrible things about maybe in the past, and you didn't know they were there, and
What are you talking about?
you just walk in. I mean, it's happened a couple times in college potentially, but you just walk in and you go, oh no, probably should not be here. And you start looking around and you quickly realize that you and your boys are very much outnumbered than there and them boys. And then you're trying to find an exit at all times. You know what I mean? You're trying to like, maybe I should get out of here. Don't think, cheers, you guys. All right. Okay, let's get out of here. There's people, I guess, that don't notice that ever. And I think Rudy is one of those people. He walks into a room and doesn't know that people hate him. And if that's what you're saying about the Rudy story, then that kind of is taking a completely different turn for me.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I just know
You said with your eyes, your face, you said that everybody on that team hates Rudy. You said, have you ever heard anybody on that team talk about that?
So okay, I talked to a guy who he actually played. He was on my podcast a long time ago. I said, "Oh wait," I said, "Coach, you played with Rudy, right?" And he said he snickered. He's like, "Rudy played with me."
Oh!
And I try to like, if you try to get into it a little bit or ask it, they just kind of shut down.
Who was
like,
it?
Yeah, cool. Watch the movie. Yeah.
Who was it?
His name's Tom Clements. He coaches for the Cardinals.
The Arizona Cardinals or the St.
Yeah,
Louis
I
Cardinals?
think he's a QB coach now for the Cardinals. He was the quarterback coach in Green Bay for a while.
Okay.
But he was a stud quarterback in Notre Dame and then like a CFL legend.
Was he at the Packers when you were there?
Yeah, and he didn't openly say that he doesn't like Rudy, but that's when he said, no, Rudy played with me. After he laughed, I'm like, oh, okay.
I love that. I love everything about that. Turns out Rudy's a bunch of shit. I mean,
Turns out most likely anyone that went to Notre Dame, likes Notre Dame, like, they get so many questions about Rudy. Can you imagine if you played on the same team as Rudy and people find that out? Like you probably get peppered with questions all night.
I wish I played on that team. I wish as soon as that movie comes out, my next stand-up would have been next level about Rudy. It's like, okay, this guy wants to make himself the hero. I got some stories. I did a Zoom with all my WVU teammates last night. It was awesome. It was.
How many?
I don't know, because I have my cell phone Zoom. I've never done the Zoom on the computer, and I didn't even know everybody could see me at all times. I was just holding the thing, and then I saw a picture of what everybody else was looking at. They could see me the entire time. I did not know that.
Looked like a full house. It looked like 16 at least.
No, I think there was upwards. I think it was like
Probably a couple pages.
Yeah, I think it was like 30, 50 of them.
Was there like a moderator? Was there any one person that – how do you not all just step on each other?
What I think is happening, Neil Brown, the new coach at WVU, is – one of the coaches is Jamal Addai, who was a safety for our team. He's an OG to everybody. He was a couple years older than us, but he kind of tied in the Pac-Man West Virginia team and then our era of West Virginia team, which is Pat, Steve, Owen Schmidt, them. So Jamal Addai was like the tie-in, and he was the OG to everybody. Everybody liked Jamal. He's now coaching at WVU, and it feels as if Neil Brown is trying his absolute best to get the crew back into WVU. That was the picture from last night. I don't know if there's more than one screen, but there was a lot of us in there, and it was a lot of the first time seeing those guys for a long, long time. I mean, it was absolutely awesome. Pac-Man was in there telling stories. Pat White was in there. Steve Slayton was in there. You just name it. There's a lot of guys in there. I mean, and dudes I haven't seen in a long time, and it was literally just like, we just picked right back up. They sent me a DM. They were like, hey, we're doing a Zoom tonight at 7. Come join us. And I was like, all right, delete that fucking thing. I'm out. I'm not doing that. Then it started, and at 7:30 something, I got a text from Pat White that was like, will you please come in here for like 2 seconds? And I was like, what is it? He was like, this is a Zoom call. And I didn't know he was in it. I was like, if I knew Pat White was going to be in it, that means probably other people are going to be in it. I'm in. For a long time, though, our team was basically like, I don't want to say pushed out at WVU, but wasn't very welcomed back to WVU because Bill Stewart was the coach after Rich Rod. Bill Stewart got fired. Dana Holgerson got brought in. Oliver Luck moved the team to the Big 12. The Big East collapsed. And they were trying, I don't want to say bury our legacy, but it was kind of like our legacy was kind of one that they were pushing out, right? So Neil Brown's trying to bring us all back. And I think that Zoom last night, it was a great couple steps towards it. I had the time of my life in there. It was like an hour and a half, 2 hours of sharing stories. I mean, it was awesome. I absolutely loved it. That's my first real like Zoom. I did Frank Caliendo's podcast where there was like 3 people in there, but I didn't know, like, I'd be talking into the camera and then I'd mute myself. And then all of a sudden a guy I hadn't seen in 20 years just pops in there. I'm like, geez, I didn't know you were in here. Great to see you. And it was magical. It was absolutely magical. But to hear those stories from back in the day, man, and kind of reminisce with people, I think that's one very big positive I'll take from this entire thing, is that I got a chance to reconnect with a bunch of people that I hadn't talked to in a long, long time. It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I think maybe once everything clears up and things get back to somewhat what they were before, maybe some of that can carry over. I don't know. I mean, you were already on that train, though. You only FaceTime, it seems like, unfortunately, always at the most inopportune times. But, yeah.
Listen, it's not inopportune. It is very urgent if I'm FaceTiming. It means, hey, I don't know.
It is not. First off, okay.
Go on.
You really think it's that urgent usually?
Every time. Every time I call, I got something I need to talk about now. And if we don't talk about it now, I will not remember it later. So we got to get this handled right now. And I'm going to be honest, you're tough to get a hold of these days. You are tough to FaceTime with these days. Tough.
Well, a lot of times well, believe it or not, I don't sit there and walk around on my phone all day, but I'll put it on a charger.
Really?
But sometimes if I can see you FaceTime, and I'm like, I'm not going to pick this up right now and subject you to hearing kids in the background and all that stuff. Like, so that's partly why I can't answer the phone at certain times.
Are you a little scared of Uncle Pat coming into a FaceTime and really dropping a
not
truth
scared of
bomb
you.
on those fucking kids?
I'm not scared of anything you would say. I'm saying you'll be so annoyed. I've watched you try to interact with children. You are like an absolute psychopath and have no idea what they are. So I'm like, I can't answer the phone right now. There's no chance.
Hey, a 12-year-old kid called my show earlier today. I think I handled it pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
He said his fake ID says he's 21. This kid was 12. I love that kid. I'm going to try to adopt him. His name is Wyatt. I love that kid.
Hey, good for your coach, though, that the West Virginia coach trying to bring you guys back. That's a big, that's a huge thing. I think it helps with everybody when you get all the old guys to come back together, and then your current players can see how tight the older players are, and they come back, wow, this is kind of a special thing. We should really try to invest in this whole program.
Does Ohio State, I assume Ohio State does the alumni program very, very well. I assume you have that cruise, obviously, but I assume like game days and stuff like that, you guys all feel welcomed and want to go back. I would assume Ryan Day carried on that tradition if Urban Meyer didn't.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Jim Tressel was great about that. Urban Meyer was good about that as well. He always would tell me he wanted me to come back to the facility and try to invite people and do they cookouts for alumni right after the spring game, I believe. I actually never went to one.
But is there a problem between you and Ohio State? Are you okay?
Zero problem at all. And I think I was just out of town or doing something else during the spring game.
More important, yeah.
Golf tournament.
Yeah.
And I can't go watch the spring game in person.
Me neither.
It's on. They play it on Big Ten Network. I'll watch some of that there. But no, they're great at that. Ryan Day, yeah, they're always trying to keep alumni guys around. I think it's a good thing. It was fun seeing the older dudes come back when I was in school.
Yeah, I would assume that if you're at West Virginia right now and Pat White, Steve Slayton, Pac-Man Jones, and a bunch of the guys show up, like that's going to be a good thing, not a bad thing, I would assume. I don't know. I just feel like I might be wrong.
And if you were a head coach at a university, wouldn't you want to try to do that too? Because it's not good if a coach tries to alienate some of the alumni. Then all those alumni are all tight, and then they all collectively hate the current head coach and want him out of there.
There was a lot of slander being said about the last head coach. I will say there's a lot of sly jabs being taken at the last regime that was there. But after meeting Dana Holgerson, like that's just not his thing. Like he does not care about anything other than his team. Like that, you know what I mean? And by the way, I don't think that is necessarily wrong, but I had a grudge against Dana Holgerson, right? I did not like Dana Holgerson because they tried to eliminate Pat White and Steve Slayton, who basically put West Virginia on the map, I thought.
Wait, how'd they try to eliminate them?
Well, Geno Smith and Tavon Austin came in immediately afterwards, right? So there was big pictures of Geno Smith and Tavon Austin everywhere. But by the way, not Geno Smith or Tavon Austin's fault. It was just they were trying to build up like their hey, these are our guys. And Pat and Steve, like basically, I don't want to say we're forgotten about, but there wasn't much.
Well, yeah, we didn't recruit them.
Yeah, exactly. They're not our guys. Like, yeah, they built this entire stadium and this university basically and our locker room that we have, but we are now trying to build a new program in the Big 12. It was like a turning of the page. And I did not love Dana Holgerson. And then I met Dana Holgerson and I was like, oh, this is just, Like once you understand him, it's like that's not his thing. Like it's never going to be his thing to be like, hey, let me reach out to the alum, let me do this. He just wants to coach ball. Like that's all the guy. And by the way, I respect it after meeting him, but there's a lot of times there beforehand where a lot of the ex-players are like, fuck this guy. Like, hey, have you won 4 straight bowl games, 2 of them being BCS? No? Okay. Well, shut the fuck up and let us in the building whenever we want to come in. Okay. That's been a lot of the conversation. But now I think Neil Brown is trying to bring us back. And that's a smart idea, I think, by Neil. I think it's a smart idea. And he might be trying to, by the way, bury the legacy of now that we might be the benefactors now of him potentially trying to bury the last one. But hey, I'm on the right side of it now. I'm all in with it. I'm 100% all in.
But if you're the head coach, though, what do you do when, say, you have like this open door policy for your former players? Where does that cut off? Like, what if you have a dude that walked on, never played, was always battling to even stay in school?
What if it was Rudy?
He's bringing. What's that?
What if it was Rudy?
Well, yeah, but say that guy comes back, he's living in town, and he's coming through like bringing tours of people through the facility every week.
I know, and that was kind of addressed at the end of the Zoom. Jamal, friend of all of ours, teammate of all of ours, he was like, hey, here's how you guys get tickets. Here's how we do this. But we obviously have a certain amount. We can't just let everybody come back. He said, no offense to you or anything like that, but there is a little bit of order here. It felt like Jamal was really trying to get it back together, but I hadn't been back in a long time. We had a 10-year anniversary of the Sugar Bowl team. I went back for that, and I stayed for a half, and I got either I flew in, flew out the same day. It's just it hadn't really been a place that a lot of us, I think, felt welcomed, and so now they're trying to open those doors up. And Pac-Man last night was 10 out of 10 performance on that Zoom. Pac-Man Jones dominated that Zoom last night, and I'll tell you what, I loved every second of it. I learned a lot of things during that thing that I didn't know about that was happening while I was there, and then obviously some stories were told about me that I had forgotten about. I was like, damn, good for me, man. I used to really do it. I used to really, really do it. It was a blast. I'd never done that before. I was pretty pumped up about it.
You think you're gonna do it again? Can you put a Zoom together for your high school squad?
Probably Diggs' job, right?
Yeah, that seems more like a Tone Diggs job.
Nah, we're all right.
Our high school is in a bad spot, by the way. We lost another one yesterday.
What do you mean?
We had a bad drug problem at our high school. Bad. Like my grade alone, I think we've lost 6, 7 guys just from ODs and such like that. We lost a good one yesterday. I feel very bad about it. But our high school hasn't always been in a great spot. I've always said that what I'm going to do is hopefully I'm going to get wealthy enough to be able to disappear for like 5, 10 years. I want to disappear, go to an island, whatever. And then when I come back and I'm bored or whatever, I probably have a big Dave Letterman beard. I'm thinking about walking into my high school's school board and telling them, congratulations, I'll be your athletic director now. Get the guy out of the office, and then let's go ahead and flip this whole thing around. I feel like at some point I'm going to want to give back to Plum at some point. Just now's not that time.
But by pushing a guy out and hijacking the AD job, how is that giving back?
Anything can be better than what it is now, pal. I mean, that's
Boost those sports. New
And
jerseys.
and if that
You probably
athletic,
have to talk to like the superintendent or something, right, to get that job. Though.
maybe I'm the superintendent then. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, he knows where he lives.
Yeah, I know exactly. I know. 2 doors down.
That's a callback. See.
Oh my
Good
God.
call.
Coach Diggs, the old man here, runs the water supply. We could spike that with some steroids, get all the kids
Yeah.
on stuff.
Smart.
I think what you have to do if you want to be successful in high school is I would have to build an apartment complex. I was talking to CFO Phil about this last night. I would have to build an apartment complex in Plum that we can get kids to come to Plum.
Oh, recruit.
And then, recruit,
Yeah. That's
scholarships, and then get them in there. And by the way, I don't know if the athletic director is currently doing that or superintendent, but when I lay out my plan, they're both fucking hot, and I'm in. I know that.
Can't wait! Can't wait to see it. It'll be an exciting time watching you as the athletic director have to go around to like the girls' softball games on Tuesday, volleyball games on Wednesday. Like the AD is not just football; it's every sport.
The assistant AD can go to some of the sports. But, I mean, AJ, the football team might need a coach. So, I mean, what are you doing?
By the way, AJ, congratulations. You have a high school football coach. I didn't hear you say thank you there when I went in there and pirated the entire operation in my high school. I didn't hear you say thank you for getting the head coaching gig. You got it, bud. You already got it.
I will send you some great references for people that could be a great coach for you.
Just turn me down.
Yeah.
We don't take kindly to people turning.
It's well documented on this show. I've told you that I'm not a good coach.
Yeah, but that's what we want. We want people that aren't good coaches to let these kids know that you don't have to be good to succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just a figure.
Yeah, we just got to go pilfer and recruit the greatest guys in this state and put them in this apartment complex and say this is their new residence so they can go to school here and hopefully get a scholarship.
You want to be assistant athletic director. You can be assistant athletic director if you want. You got to go to a couple games you probably don't want to go to, but you have great ideas. We can do all these things together.
I'm in.
Oh, hey.
Let's go.
Congratulations to Plum, by the way.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
What are we? The Plum Panthers? What are we?
Come on. Maybe. I mean, we could probably change the name, but we are Mustangs. We're all Mustangs here.
We're all Mustangs here.
Can we also bring back the show two-a-days?
Sure.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
you're going to need some kind of
MTV?
revenue to pay these kids.
Hoover High.
yeah, Hoover High School.
Oh, that was Hoover High, right?
yeah, the swoosh. Those kids all had the
Yeah,
McElroy.
McElroy was on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
The southern like Bieber thing that Bieber used to have.
The swoop.
Damn,
They
that
like
was
flip
good.
it.
Oh
yeah,
my
you got to
God.
like swoop it to the side though.
Hold on.
Try the other side.
Let's see.
You're gonna have to straighten
Chris
it too,
Gaines
probably.
right here.
Yeah, there it is. That way.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh,
Man, I play quarterback. Yeah, man. I'm just trying. Why don't I do this more? This is maybe pre-quarantine, post-quarantine. Well, I had a roommate in college. His name was Tripp from Alabama. He had this haircut for first 3.5 years of college. Always wore an Alabama hat too. Played for West Virginia. It was always very interesting. And then one day he shaved his head completely, and it was the dawning of a new day. We had an entire celebration. He was no longer Hoover High School kid from Alabama. He was he had conformed to the Yankees up north. It's hard on.
I mean,
the,
you look kind of like a Southern Hoover High kid mixed with like an emo Seattle musician.
Thank you.
some of the comments say you look like you hate your dad.
To McAfee built an axe throwing.
Yes.
What's it called? An axe
Target?
target.
Battle axe.
He threw like a target or whatever. He built one from scratch. You know how you throw axes into the wood and then you have a bullseye on it?
Yeah, there's like big bars that have that now.
We can be one. If everything goes to shit here, we can start charging per axe here. And I'm thinking it's about $250 an axe, by the way. 3 for $10. It's not a good deal. It's a bad deal. It's a bad deal. Anything else happening?
Yeah, I wanted to mention you. What do you think about some players missing virtual offseason? I saw Jamal Adams. It was like a headline. Jamal Adams, safety for the Jets. He won't be participating in the virtual offseason this year.
I think if he's really going to do it, this is how you have to do it. You open it up to the Zoom. You join the Zoom, but you place your laptop in a room that you're not in with a sign that says, I'm fucking out. I think that's what you have to do. Just so you make a real grand stand. Because if you don't log into the Zoom, people just think you potentially have tech problems. You don't fully understand it. If he showcases that he understands how to get into the virtual offseason and then leaves his laptop in an empty room with a sign that says, I ain't doing it, I think that's a much better stand than just saying, I'm going to opt out of it. Because there's always excuses that people get. I don't think Jamal was able to figure out the tech. I think he got the wrong link. There'll always be, but if he logs in, signs in with a sign that says, I think that would be absolutely flawless and savage, and I absolutely love it. I love it a lot.
I mean, that'd be good only if we got screenshots from other guys on his team of the whole screen of all the 24 guys on screen, and you just see his sign right there in the middle or something. That would be well worth it.
Imagine if he did choose to go in there and just sat there and just did this the entire time.
Would he still get credit? Because you have workout bonuses tied to your participation in the offseason program. I'm wondering if you got credit if he just stood there and flicked him off for 6 straight weeks.
You think that's why they're doing these virtual off seasons, because they have to, because guys have bonuses on the line for it.
Well, for everybody, the coaches want to keep tabs on their players. They want to try to give them installs, make it as normal as possible with, try to make it work. But then, yes, players have these $250,000 off-season workout bonus that you have to have like 85% participation. So, yeah, I guess what constitutes participation in these Zoom meetings, though?
Are you there? Like, hey, I'll check in. Like, there's guys, obviously, whenever they hand out iPads, they can track how much film you watch, right? So there's guys that figure out ways to put all the film on loop so they can just open their iPad and just look as if they ran through it all. Guys will figure out a way to game any possible system that could potentially be gamed, and I assume guys will be able to figure it out. But if those Zooms are anything like my Zoom last night. I mean, I had no idea who was on that thing until they popped up laughing or something out of nowhere. One guy had his kid next to us, started cackling. I was like, damn, I don't even remember who this guy is, but I'm happy he's here. So I would assume that a lot of NFL people are not going to understand fully who's there and who's not there. Think about football coaches. I mean, football guy is it's a saying that's been said for, 30, 40 years about these guys who live under a rock and their only job is football. All they know is football. I watch film. I coach football. I critique football. I watch more film. I go into the woods. I fish for 2 weeks when it's the off season. I come back. I coach football. I have no idea who my kids are. I'm never around them. I never see my wife. I am a football guy. That is a real thing that has been around for a very long time. Imagine them trying to figure out this Zoom. You can mute yourself very easily. If you accidentally scroll too far, you're muted. I couldn't figure it out last night. There was times where I was talking for a good 2-3 minutes. Nobody could hear what I was saying. And then they started talking shit at me like, oh, Pat's muted. Somebody tell Pat how to unmute himself. Pat said, Pat, you're embarrassing yourself right now. That was happening. I couldn't even fathom a D-line coach, an offensive line coach, these people trying to figure out these virtual meetings, and it's going to be fantastic.
Well, the best part about all these the virtual meetings. So the coaches, and you explained the football guy to a T. And those football guys, they take pride in all of that. They don't try to push back on that. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, I know my kids' names. Like, they don't do that too. They don't say, no, what? Oh, that's mine, I guess. Yeah. So I think the best part though about all this, I can't. You mute when you talk over me. I couldn't hear. What'd you say?
When you said that's mine, I guess that's a very funny line to hear a coach looking at a child and be like, "That." Bruce Arians retired. He said his son turned 40, and he said 40. that was just like the ultimate football. That is just what they are. That's just
blinders. They got blinders on at all times, and they're super. A lot of them are super anxious and nervous 24 hours a day and on the verge of a heart attack. But think about an old D-line coach, Pat. They could deliver them a computer fully loaded with all your stuff, with printed out instructions, tell you this is what you need to do to connect with your guys if you're having issues, whatever. But they can't be there. They can't be there in person with that coach. So the guy had to learn probably through Zoom on how to run his Zoom meetings. But then all these coaches, there's always a guy they're yelling for when their clicker breaks, when the film won't pull up. Like, Billy, bring my stuff over. Get my third down sheet. What's going on? They freak out and go crazy if it's not there in 3 seconds. Now there's no one there to lean on for that guy. So he's going to have his players actually all chime in. No, coach, go to settings. Turn your mic on. You got
what?
That's what's going to happen.
What? Oh, fuck it. I'll see you tomorrow. That's what's going to end up happening.
If head coach asks, tell him this thing was 3 hours long.
There's stories that come out that the Penn State players used to act like there was lightning when Joe Paterno was getting up in his day. They would all just like script it out. It'd be like Wednesday, maybe full pad day of the week, and they'd be like, I think we're getting lightning, period 3, 4 minutes in. Okay, all right. Everybody's like, deal. And then 4 minutes into period 3, everybody would be like, ah! And Joe would have to Joe would worry about Nebraska, obviously, instead of his kids. But then he would like turn and be like, what was that? And everybody would be like, there's lightning coming in from over there. And then the athletic trainer would get called in, like, was there lightning? He's like, I didn't see any, but 100 guys just said there was. Practice delayed. I mean, it was just, oh my God. He shouldn't have worried about Nebraska. He should have worried about Sandusky in the pool with his grandkids.
Yeah, probably.
He should have. He should have.
It's true. I mean, facts.
But Nebraska was next week, though.
He played Nebraska, 700 times? Literally. He played Nebraska 700 times. They're the same team every year. We know exactly what we're getting from them, and that's all he was worried about in that HBO thing. Did you watch that?
Yeah.
This show's got tenure. It's a made show. Doesn't matter.
What's that? This show?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because we got
tenure. It's a made show.
We got protection. We got live stream protection. But the Penn State fans understand that HBO thing was not great looking for Joe Paterno and stuff like that, and things that happened there weren't good. Jerry Sandusky was the guy that was behind my creative vision for what we should do to pedophiles.
I hate to ask, but did they win that Nebraska game the week after?
I think they did. I think they pulled it out.
Oh, look at that.
It was worth it, I guess. I think it was worth it.
Do you think Joe? I don't know. I mean, there's so many layers to it. From watching the HBO thing, it makes you wonder, like, how this guy, who is Al Pacino that played Paterno?
Yeah.
He pooped his pants that season too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. That was at Ohio State when he ran off the field.
Yeah.
Why'd you guys put a bathroom so far away? It made
Also,
that
you
poor
were
guy.
reversing AQ Shipley that day.
I wasn't playing in that game.
Did you and AQ play against each other? Yeah, obviously.
Well, how old is AQ?
My age, 32.
Yeah, I think I played maybe 1 year against him.
No, he's 1 year older than me. 33 probably.
Yeah, I'm 36. I played 1 year against him, I think, in college.
High school 06 or 04. He was 04, I think.
Oh, I'm 02 high school, so yeah, maybe a couple years.
How'd you guys? You didn't. He was forgettable, obviously. That's.
No, we got beat by Penn State my senior year at Penn State.
Was it a whiteout?
Yeah, oh yeah,
What is it? Darude Sandstorm they play up there?
that's a good song, man.
Tigers.
That used to be my flip cup song, by the way.
Oh yeah.
When it came down to it, Game 7 of a best of 7, hit Darude. Sandstorm comes on.
It's like 9 minutes long. I feel like.
Yeah, it is long.
Yeah. The flip cup game was not. It was very quick, but it got me in the mode. I had to dance. I had to stall normally for the beat to drop because if you didn't stall, the game was potentially over before the beat dropped. So you had to make sure everybody knew what was going on. And then every once in a while, you'd have the Penn State person in there that would do the "We are Penn State" in the middle. We are Penn State. It's been a pretty good week, I think, for us.
Yeah, how do you feel physically?
Like, I feel good. I did an extra set of push-ups again this morning, and body squats, body weight squats, so I can eat. Our fucking kitchen was loaded this morning. We had waffle and fries, or waffle and chicken, fried
Wait,
chicken.
who
and
brings
waffles.
this all in?
Significant others.
Nice.
So people are like pack lunches, but for the entire office. Diggs today brought a cookie dough covered chocolate cake
With chocolate chips on
with
it.
chocolate chips on top of it, and these little cake balls that were those things disappeared very quickly. Zito brought in chicken and waffles and eggs. I mean, it was just next level. And then we always have candy rolling around. And then Nick made some apocalypse burgers and some grilled chicken with lemon pepper on it. I mean, this office is really taking a step towards ruining everybody's diet every single day.
Should come down to the restaurant sometime.
Yeah.
It's a good callback.
Quarantina, Cincinnati Bengals. Quarantina, I don't think you're allowed to come here, but what are we doing for the draft? Are you just staying home and sitting there and with that backdrop for a super primetime special or not?
Yeah, I mean, where else would I go?
I think we should make something a little special. Don't you have a thing behind that you can?
I got a green screen. I can do. You can, if you guys can do a live green screen.
Everybody looked at Zito right there. Zito, can we, huh?
We'll do it.
Can we change his backdrop?
Yeah, I don't know what happens to your
You can
side.
change on like Zoom. I know I've been on Zooms. You can put every backdrop you want.
Be on the beach.
But I mean, on FaceTime we can't.
Zoom.
I think I can.
Yeah, let me know, Zito, if you can do it. I can take this thing down.
Zoom, zoom.
We in the club like Zoom. Zoom. Boosie.
Shout out in the comment section. One of the viewers just had a baby.
Hey!
Brandon.
Sex.
Oh, come on, Connor. You just popped out. Brandon Vernacucci.
Hey, congrats,
Hey, Paisan.
Brandon Vernacucci. Probably should have been paying attention to the mom and the baby, but the fact you're watching our show while birth is being given, we take as a massive honor. Congratulations, Brandon.
Yes, we're glad to be a part of his special day.
Now, what you need to do is make sure you turn up this show very loud every single day so that baby of yours can learn some words from Uncle Pat. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Is this show over?
I don't know. What's your wedding situation like?
No, we're not getting into that.
I'm just curious.
We changed our date. Officially changed the date.
To how far did you bump it?
Well, we're not giving out specifics, but we did change the date. I have to do the math here. 1, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5, probably 5 weeks.
Oh, you only bumped it 5 weeks?
Yeah, believe me, it's been an interesting conversation. But apparently the 5 weeks is going to make a world of difference, and everything's going to be A-okay, pal. All right?
Good for you, pal. I'm glad you guys are getting this thing situated.
Are you coming to the wedding?
Is it still a destination?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I don't. We could talk about it when the time comes. I gotta get the invite first.
Come on.
You were invited.
Jeez.
Yeah, a verbal invite. That's not how it works for weddings. I know you got to.
Oh, don't give me that old school
how it
bullshit.
works.
You don't need that piece up the reminder thing.
But if I'm coming, you need
1950s.
to know because it's each place costs money.
So you want me to go through all the invites that we already have, and another one for you. Put a Sharpie through the date, put a new date, and send it to you. That's what you want me to do?
That'd be very nice.
All right, I'll do it. Are you going to come? I like good wedding gifts. A big wedding gift is what we need.
Oh, I didn't even think about a gift.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll see. You moved it back 5 weeks, so it's probably not going to happen then either. So I'll figure it out. I need to check the schedule. I'm sorry to your girl for that. I don't really mean that.
What about
I hope
me?
it happens.
What about me? I got to go walk into that beehive now after you just started poking his stick.
If you know, many times you've said on the show, I don't know what carries the weight. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me.
Who?
You've said that on this show.
Me?
About the date of your wedding.
No.
I think you said it like, I don't need a legal binding thing. It's my girl forever for the rest of my life, so I don't really need this.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that.
Second
It is 100% what I said, what you just said. But I wanted that main date because I knew it was a very important date to both of us. And I knew no matter what worldwide pandemic or quarantine was happening, I wanted that same date to be the date no matter what. Even if there was a little bit, maybe some logistical issues and stuff like that. So the fact that we moved it was a tough day for me, AJ. I want to let you know. It's a tough day, those 5 weeks. I did not want to move it, but we did, obviously, and now it's going to be a great weekend, I'm sure.
Yes, it is, and I'm very happy that it's going to be a great weekend. I may have to attend if
come on,
one of these days in the next 3 months.
AJ, you have to come to the wedding.
We're all gonna learn how to surf.
Come on.
Come on.
Oh, it's still going to be in Hawaii?
AJ, it's an interesting conversation. I'm not 100% sure, but at the time, it sure feels as if that is what's happening.
Watch out for the sharks.
Sharks. The sharks get you to become a nubby. You become a
Hey, you guys
nubby
know
like
when
that
you-
person on Joe Exotic.
You were saying that all day yesterday. I don't know if it was the pod or
I
YouTube
wasn't.
show before we got taken down, but I thought for sure you were saying Shaq the whole time.
No, Shaq.
Yeah, well, Shaq has a shock.
Okay. Yeah. Then afterwards, I realized what you guys were doing.
Hey, quick question.
No.
Why did you hang up on us in the show earlier today? A lot of people were wondering why you hung up.
Oh, I felt like the show, my time was up.
Nah. Did
We're
you
not
not hear
supposed to
this?
wait to be hung up on?
Well, I just thought there was maybe a smooth sailing because I want to throw it back to you to say goodbye to everybody, and you were already gone.
Yeah.
But when you're not in studio with each other, trying to throw it back, and then the pause, like, yeah, goodbye. Like, I'm not. We don't need to do
We
that.
don't
I'm
have
trying
that
to help
problem.
your show be efficient.
We don't have that problem. We're professionals here. There's a lot of shows that are trying to do what we're doing right now, and I'll tell you what, they stink.
Do you peruse some of these shows just to get a feel on what it looks like out there?
Yeah, I feel so much better about myself, too. Every time I flip around, I'm like, oh, they suck. They suck. They stink. All right, we're going to make a lot of money in this profession. Let me go watch a show now on Netflix. That's what I do. It's my entire nightly schedule. It's kind of fun. I scroll around. I'm like, they stink. Yep, they stink, too. They got paid a lot of money. They stink. All right. Yeah, we're in a good spot. And
What
unless,
happens if you come across something you're like, oh, this is actually pretty good?
Well,
I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, you'll let me know what happened.
Never happened.
No, there's some people that are very talented. There are some people that are very talented. But, boy,
You
this
didn't say very good. Very talented and very good is a different thing.
Well, I think this quarantine has exposed a lot of people. I think this
Like, what,
has-
you don't have to give example, but like, what do you mean? Exposed what kind of people?
Not too many highlights being shown.
yeah,
right
some
now,
people
AJ.
are just relying. I mean, I've seen one show that went back to the LeBron MJ debate like what 45 times
for the
or something.
past 2 weeks.
Come on, bro.
Every single day.
Come on.
It's obviously MJ, but
Well,
wait, AJ, did you actually think about naming your child Michael Hawk?
No, I did not.
That was your sign off earlier today.
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
If you
But name
shorten it, it
Mike,
becomes
Mike Hawk. You could, maybe.
God, that'd be awesome to hear your kid get announced at places.
introducing.
Standing at 6'4", starting middle linebacker for the Ohio State, Mike Hawk. Mike Hawk. Mike Hawk. Mike Hawk. Mike Hawk. Mike Hawk.
That'd be, yeah.
Do
I
it.
like that. See, that chant is a lot better than the others that you do.
All right, this show's over.
Look good, feel good, play good.
Play good, pay good, live good, die good.